Hello again, and welcome to the first episode of the new Titan Athletic Podcast. I am your host, Jim Harris, Coordinator of Athletics and Student Activities at Alexandria City High School. In case you missed it, on December 3rd, 2020, the Alexandria School Board unanimously voted to change the name of T.C. Williams High School. After a citywide search, the school board selected Alexandria City High School as the new name. We will continue to be the Titans, but the era of Alexandria City High School has begun. With this name change, we are in the process of updating all of our social media and websites. If you are already following us on Twitter and Instagram, you may have noticed the new handles. For those of you not following us, what are you waiting for? You can find us on Twitter at ACHS Titans and on Instagram at AC Titan Athletics. Our website changes to actitans.org. Don't forget to update your bookmarks and favorites with our new names. In today's episode, we will go over the necessary paperwork needed to participate in athletics here at Alexandria City. We will cover the fall tryout information. We will give you the date of our first Friday night football game in the newly renovated stadium. And we will have the first in a series of interviews with fall coaches and administrators. In order to participate in any kind of athletic activities at Alexandria City, you will need to have a physical completed by a medical professional and reported on the VHSL physical form, and have completed all the necessary athletic forms on our online athletic system, Rank 1 Sport. All forms needed to participate in sports in Alexandria City and to participate in out-of-season workouts can be turned in online. We have expanded that service now to allow parents and guardians the ability to upload the VHSL physicals into Rank 1 Sport for approval. This way, everything can be done online and from the comfort of your own home. The Rank 1 Sports website for Alexandria City is alexandriacity.rank1sport.com. Medical insurance is mandatory to participate in athletics at Alexandria City. If your student athlete does not currently have medical insurance, we have partnered with K&K Insurance to provide student medical insurance for a small price. Information on that can be found on the website www.studentinsurance-kk.com and search for the City of Alexandria. Complete information on all forms needed to participate in sports in Alexandria City can be found on our website at www.actitans.org/tryout. Here is the most up-to-date tryout information for the fall. This information may change, so continue to check back to either our social media or our website as all changes will be reflected there. Football tryouts start July 29th at 3:30 p.m. in the newly renovated Parker Gray Stadium. They will continue on July 30th and 31st, also at 3:30 p.m. This is for all levels, freshman, JV, and varsity. Cheerleading will have their virtual tryout video released on July 29th for student athletes to watch and learn. In-person tryouts will be August 2nd at 10 a.m. and August 3rd at 10 a.m., both in the auxiliary gym. Golf team tryouts will be announced at a later date. We are currently working on getting tee times for tryouts, and that information will be released once they are available. Field hockey tryouts will begin Wednesday, August 4th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Minnie Howard Field and will continue through the 9th for varsity, the 11th for JV, and the 12th for freshmen. Cross country will start August 3rd. They will practice each Monday through Saturday at 8:30 a.m. plus every Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. until classes start on Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. Then practice will be Monday through Friday at 3:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. unless they have a cross-country meet. Volleyball will have two-a-day tryouts starting August 9th and will continue on to the 10th and the 11th. Times will be released later in July. This past school year and into this summer, the Parker Gray Stadium here at Alexandria City High School has been under renovation. A new blue turf field has been added, a new 8-lane track is being installed, and a new press box has been built on the visitors' bleachers. We are having a reopening celebration to coincide with our first home Friday night football game of the year, and only the second one in history on Friday night, August 27th. There are many events being planned for that night, so set your calendars and buy your tickets early. Each time on the podcast, we're going to take some time to get to know some of our coaches and administrators. This week, I had the opportunity to catch up with our head varsity volleyball coach, AJ Desain. Our Titan volleyball team went undefeated and captured the VHSL Class 6 state championship last year and are looking to repeat. Okay, Titan fans, I have with us Coach AJ Desain, the reigning state volleyball champion coach for our Titans. We're just going to ask a couple questions of Coach and get to know him a little bit better, and he'll give us a little insight on the volleyball program. First off, Coach, why don't you give us your background? Where are you from, your playing background, your coaching background, and your current job?
Okay. Well, I'm Coach AJ, as Mr. Harris said. So I have been running the now Alexandria City High School volleyball program. This will be my 7th season upcoming. And so I am originally from upstate New York, a very, very, very small town, and with one stoplight, usually as a hindrance to traffic flow is what I always tell everybody to give them an idea of just how tiny a world I come from. I was lucky enough to have one of the best coaches in New York State teach me the game when I was in high school. I went on to play at a small D2 school in upstate New York called SUNY Brockport, where I was a 4-year starting libero for that program. We won a handful of state championships at our level and got to compete at the national tournament a couple of times. So I learned a ton through my high school and college experience. When I came down here to then T.C. Williams High School to get a teaching job, I eventually found my way back into volleyball. I've kind of taken over the program, and like I said, over the last 7 years, we've gotten a chance to do some pretty awesome things, culminating this past spring in that state championship that you already alluded to, Jim.
All right, you kind of alluded to it, but why did you choose Alexandria City High School to coach at? I mean, there's a lot of different programs in the area.
Mm-hmm. So ultimately, right out of college, I ended up getting a teaching job at, like I said, then T.C. Williams High School. And my first couple of years down here in Alexandria, I focused on just becoming a good teacher, learning how to do all of that. And then I got back involved in volleyball because it's been such a huge part of my life and my growth as a person and an individual. And I knew I wanted to give back to the kids that I was already working with in my school. And it just so happened that I fell into that opportunity here at now Alexandria City High School, and it's just been an awesome experience being able to see those kids in the school as well as on the court and having a chance to work with the community members that I work with every day. It's awesome.
Outstanding. For those that are just getting to know you and your program, what do you look for in a potential student athlete for your program?
There are a million different molds that you can look for different athletes, and no kid is going to fit any particular box of criteria. What we look for is we're looking for great kids that are coachable, that we want to work with, that want to work with us, that want to learn the sport and get better. We want kids to be competitive on a level that is healthy for high school athletics. Like, we want kids that want to win and want to work hard so they can work towards that goal. And overall, we want good people. Obviously, in terms of athletic traits, everybody wants, people who are extraordinarily tall, jump really high, run really fast. That's something that every coach looks for in every athlete, but we don't necessarily need that in a kid. We want kids who are coachable, willing to work, have a desire to get better, and honestly just want to have fun playing a sport. And we can give them all of the tools that they need to become the best volleyball players they can.
Outstanding. Now, coming off a great season, coming off a state championship, what can we expect from your program this year? Every year's
So,
different. So,
Mhm.
but what do we expect, year two now?
So, for a little bit of background context, for those who don't necessarily know the program or didn't follow us very much last year was our last year within the Gunston district. So this year we're transferring into a new district called the Patriot District, where we're going to be competing against mostly brand new teams within our own, for lack of a better word, conference. Although we are transferring over a couple, West Potomac in particular. And so last year we were lucky enough to go undefeated. The kids worked really hard. They had a tremendous year. They did all of those amazing things, and we rolled right through. We were able to win a state title. And due to the circumstances surrounding that, every one of the kids that competed in that state championship game is going to be returning to us this year. Now we are going into a new district that is much stronger competition than what we experienced in the past. Just by sheer luck of the draw, this year's Patriot District is going to be extraordinarily tough. And we project to be one of the top teams. We're returning every starter from a state championship. Like you said, every year is different. And while our kids were super successful in the spring, that doesn't mean that they won't be that they will be this upcoming year if they don't put in the work. I have every ounce of faith in these guys. They have been tremendous workers over the last few years, and they just continue to astound me with the new heights that they reach in volleyball. And I expect us to have a really good year.
Now, every coach is different. Some coaches, live for practice. Others live for games. Others live for planning. Now, what are you looking forward to most for this upcoming season?
Normalcy. Is that weird to say? After this past year with COVID, it was just such an effort on COVID protocols to make sure that we're making sure every kid was checking in every single day. We were doing temperature checks. We were reaching out to families in case there was ever an issue, whether there was an exposure at one of our games that somebody else brought it to us, or if maybe there was an exposure in the community and us trying to do all of those things. And I don't know exactly what this fall is going to look like yet, and I'm sure you probably don't yet either, because we're still learning new things every day. That's what we've been doing for the last year and a half with this situation. But I'm hoping to get back to something a little bit more normal, where we get a chance to see the kids every day and not be more concerned about that, and making sure that we have hand sanitized and sanitize all of the balls and everything, and we can focus on just like the volleyball thing and getting to know these kids and helping them grow as people as well as athletes.
Outstanding. Now, before I let you go, we all have our different quirks or different things about ourselves that not everybody knows. We would like to end everything off here by asking, what's an interesting fact that people might not know about Coach AJ?
I don't know. There's a million different things. Normally I focus on like my hometown area where I come from, because it's really hard for people who grew up in Alexandria City, particularly talking about the kids that I teach, to kind of fathom what a one stoplight town actually looks like. And I try and describe that a little bit for them. There's an old Robin Williams line. It's not quite the end of the world, but I can see it from outside my window. We talk about there's a town I once met a person from who was like 10 minutes from where I grew up, and they were asking me where I was from, and I was like, oh, I'm from Phelps. And they're like, where's that? They didn't even know where my town was, and they lived like more or less across the street. So I talk about stuff like that sometimes. Also, people find it really weird that I'm left-handed, even though I do all athletic things right-handed, so I'm kind of ambidextrous in that sense. So those are a couple of like random things about me. But yeah.
Outstanding, Coach. Thanks for dropping in with us. Best of luck in the season. I'm sure all of the city of Alexandria is going to take interest this year. We're going to try to fill up that gym each and every game.
I hope so.
Yep. Well, good luck as we start the Alexandria City High School era, and we'll be seeing from you soon.
Perfect. Thanks, Jim. Have a great day.
That's all the time we have for this week's Titan Athletic Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ACHS Titans, on Instagram at AC Titan Athletics, and to check out our new website, www.actitans.org. And look for a video version of this podcast on YouTube and an audio version of this podcast on Anchor or wherever you get your podcast. I am Jim Harris, Coordinator of Athletics and Student Activities, and I will see you next time.